The government telling your channel that while the mandate for granting asylum is with the Union Home Ministry in such sophisticated cases, it will be the Prime Minister's office that will take the final call. The government saying it empathizes with the Baloch due to the atrocities meted out to them, but a call will be taken at the highest level once a formal request for asylum is made. Brahumdagh Bugti back with us on the phone. Abdul Bugti with us. Aditya Raj Kaul will be joining us live on this story in a short while from now. But going back to Brahumdagh Bugti, that's the word from the government, Brahumdagh, from the time that we've put out this story and in the last 10 minutes, this is the update we have that as soon as you make a formal request, this matter will be considered at the highest level here in India by the Prime Minister's office itself.
I'm very thankful, Ji. I'm very thankful, and already I have thanked Mr. Prime Minister, and I again and again thank the Government of India for taking all this issue very seriously, and I hope that India will also highlight the whole Baloch cause internationally to make the whole world aware what's going on in Balochistan, including the asylum and the asylum for each and every Baloch who is affected in Balochistan. So I'm very thankful, and I hope.
So will you be sending across a formal request to the Indian government very soon?
Ji, I've called my Central Committee meeting in 2 weeks in Geneva. So we will discuss each and every point, and finally, jo kuch bhi hoga, we will proceed. Especially on the issue of this every time this propaganda, this red warrant issue kiya, ye kiya, wo kiya. So we are also now कि हम initiative ले रहे हैं कि we are going to file the case against all Pakistani army generals who have been involved in the mass atrocities in Balochistan internationally and the International Court of Justice and in each European country. So they will be banned entering in Europe.
So that is a huge move that you're making. यानी कि आपको बहुत हिम्मत मिली है the fact that India is with Balochistan.
Of course, definitely.
Can you tell our viewers what has happened in the last week or 10 days, or in fact the last month, ever since the Prime Minister has endorsed his support? Last 15-20 days, आप कह रहे हैं कि there have been fresh round of atrocities that's been meted out. Because I had spoken to another activist, Huran Baloch, recently, जो कह रही थी कि जिस तरह से वहाँ पे treatment हो रही है लोगों की बलोचिस्तान में by the Pakistani army and the agencies, it is appalling.
Yeah, of course, Ji. Because after the statement of Prime Minister Modi and उसके बाद जब बलोच का जो एक reaction आया, was very thankful to the Indian government and especially Prime Minister Modi साहब. So then afterwards उन्होंने कोई पहाड़ी गिरा दिया बलोचिस्तान पर, ऑपरेशन इंटेंसिफाई कर दिया. स्पेशली जो मैंने जिक्र किया कि एक हफ्ते तक देरा बुक्ती में जो ऑपरेशन था उसको कंटिन्यू किया, मकरान में किया. कुछ डेड बॉडीज रिकवर्ड हुए लोगों के जिनसे ये महसूस होता है कि वहां पर कोई इस तरह की केमिकल वेपन्स उन्होंने यूज की. बट आई एम नॉट श्योर 100% केमिकल वेपन्स उन्होंने यूज की. बट आई एम नॉट श्योर 100% बिकॉज कोई किसी का वहां पर एक्सेस छोड़ते नहीं है. और देयर आर सो मेनी इंसिडेंट्स रिसेंटली कि वो लाशों को लाया और उन्हें खुद दफनाया गया. So there are some doubts that why you are doing all this, because you have used something के कोई
अच्छा तो वही लाशें लेके अच्छा तो वही लाशें लेके आया और उन्होंने ही दफनाया उनको. तो that means clearly वहाँ पे कुछ ऐसा हो रहा है जो कि
exactly. And afterwards you have seen, I think yourself that putting my pictures and Prime Minister Modi saab's pictures behind these are the top Pakistani anchors doing this. These are the top Pakistani anchors doing this and putting the cross sign. So I think this is the civilized way. You say that Baloch are doing this type of thing. What type of message you are giving to the whole world? To putting the cross signs of the Prime Minister of India and putting the picture behind and talking and burning the pictures on the roads, talking and burning the pictures on the roads. And some people refuse to do that. उनको उठा के ले गए और मारपीट किया. फिर खुद अपने आर्मी वालों को लाया और ये एक दिस इज जस्ट टू शो कि हम दिखाएं कि लोग ऐसा कर रहे हैं. व्हाट यू थिंक द पीपल आर स्टूपिड कि इस पर यकीन करेंगे? आप आई चैलेंज कि आप वहां पर एक रेफरेंडम करा दें, पता चलेगा अगर आप आई चैलेंज कि आप वहां पर एक रेफरेंडम करा दें, पता चलेगा अगर एक आदमी ने भी पाकिस्तान के साथ रहने की बात की, आप मुझे जो सजा दें मैं बर्दाश्त करने के लिए तैयार हूँ.
पर आप टच में हैं लोगों से वहाँ पर बलूचिस्तान में, उनको वो आपको क्या रिपोर्ट्स दे रहे हैं, क्या क्या सूरत हाल है इस वक्त, और जिस तरह से ये आपके पीछे लग गए हैं अब रेड कॉर्नर नोटिस की उन्होंने मांग की है, दे हैव मूव्ड इंटरपोल ऑलरेडी, तो आपके पास अब क्या ऑप्शंस हैं, क्योंकि आपके पास भी वक्त कम है?
जी, आई डोंट थिंक सो कि दिस इज अ वरीसम सिचुएशन, कि इस पर कोई परेशान होने की बात नहीं है हमें, और न ही कुछ होगा इनके रेड वारंट से, क्योंकि पाकिस्तान की वो वैल्यू इंटरनेशनल लेवल पर नहीं है. दिस इज अ सिविलाइज्ड वर्ल्ड. द यूरोपियन पीपल आर वेरी सिविलाइज्ड एंड दे नो वेरी वेल कि पाकिस्तान का असल जो फेस है वो क्या है, और व्हाट पाकिस्तान इज डूइंग फॉर लास्ट कपल ऑफ ईयर्स रिगार्डिंग इंटरनेशनल टेररिज्म. So I don't think so कि ये कोई सीरियसली लेंगे उसको. पाकिस्तान हैव ऑलरेडी ट्राइड सो मेनी टाइम्स. मेरा इन्होंने रिक्वेस्ट पहले भी किया, 4 साल पहले भी इन्होंने किया. दिस इज नॉट द फर्स्ट टाइम. तो इनसे कुछ नहीं होगा. दिस इज जस्ट टू लाइक कि ऐसे ये एक वावेला कर रहे हैं, तो बता रहे हैं कि हम भी कुछ कर सकते हैं. कुछ नहीं कर सकते आप. वील टेल यू इन 6 months who is going to ban in Europe, your army generals or me.
लेकिन you know what has happened since the time Prime Minister Narendra Modi has come openly in support of Balochistan. ये पिछले 1-2 महीने में ऐसा हुआ है कि जहां इंडिया ने पोजीशन अपना चेंज किया है और एक साइलेंट सपोर्ट की जगह ओपन सपोर्ट किया है. इसकी वजह से आपको क्या लगता है, क्या फ़र्क पड़ा है आपकी मूवमेंट में इन द फाइट अगेंस्ट दीज एट्रोसिटीज?
जी देखें, सबसे पहले तो ये फर्क जरूर पड़ेगा कि इंडिया इज वर्ल्ड लार्जेस्ट डेमोक्रेसी इन द वर्ल्ड. अगर उनका प्राइम मिनिस्टर बात कर रहा है तो दिस इज नॉट अ स्मॉल थिंग कि उस एवरीवन लिसन टू दैट. हर कोई इसको सुनेगा. दूसरी बात, इंडिया का जितना जो पॉपुलेशन है, लोग हैं, हमारे भाई हैं, उनको पता चल रहा है कि हमारे नेबरहुड में क्या हो रहा है. और तीसरी बात, जब इंडिया इस बात को इंटरनेशनल लेवल पर हाईलाइट करेगा, देयर विल बी अ ह्यूज इम्पैक्ट to make the rest of the world understand कि क्या हो रहा है और what is the reality, what Pakistan is doing. I think India should raise this issue now on, like on as a foreign policy. What's happening in Balochistan? It's not only interest of Baloch, not only interest of India. It's the interest of the whole Western world, the whole civilized world. कि Pakistan is not only threat for Baloch, not only threat for India. Pakistan is threat for the इंटरनेशनल लाइक कम्युनिटी कि जो कुछ वहां पर हो रहा है. अगर पाकिस्तान, आई नो दिस इज नॉट, आई थिंक रिसेंटली कुछ a week ago some journalists asked me, this is not possible that India will invade Pakistan militarily because Pakistan is atomic power or whatever. I agree, this is not 70s, the time has changed, but India should raise this question with international community to find out a way how to stop Pakistan to become a bigger problem in coming years.
But most importantly, maybe to bring to the notice.
अगर आप पाकिस्तान को आज नहीं रोकेंगे सिर्फ इस बात पर कि पाकिस्तान is an atomic power, so one day maybe this irresponsible state will use this atomic power against the civilized world.
Well, you know, you've spoken, you've highlighted a very, very pertinent point. Also, people in India also did not know, so close to Balochistan, did not know what was actually happening there. Now, do you believe that is going to now get highlighted out in the open? Brahumdagh, now, do you believe that is going to now get highlighted out in the open? Brahumdagh, please stay with me on the phone. I'm just going to bring in Abdul Bugti also. He's been listening patiently. Abdul, you endorse every single word of what Brahumdagh, the chief of the Baloch Republican Party, has said? Do you also believe, you back this demand, this call?
Of course I do. He is the president of Baloch Republican Party, which is the largest Baloch independence party in Balochistan, and I'm also a member of that party. I'm representing that party internationally. But I would also add one point to this, that as you were talking about asylum and about attacks on the Baloch people and atrocities over there, I would like to add that in 2006, when our leader Nawab Bugti was martyred by Pakistani military, more than 200,000 people migrated from there, and maybe around 10 to 12,000 people escaped atrocities and went in Afghanistan, where they also faced suicide attacks and Pakistan-backed terrorist attacks to eliminate, like to attack them, and that is something that is going on still now. So it is very important that maybe Afghanistan is a not very safe place for Baloch refugees. Maybe India should highlight the plight of those refugees and other IDPs that are still in Balochistan, that are still going on atrocities against them. So it is a very important point that not only the Baloch leaders, but also all common people that are affected by the Pakistani atrocities in Balochistan.
Now, I asked this question of Brahumdagh also, and I've just lost him on the phone. We'll try and get him back at the earliest. Are you in touch with people on ground? Because just 2 weeks back, I spoke to Huran Baloch, an activist, and she was there joining us from Balochistan, and she said on a day-to-day basis, Anand, that the kind of atrocities that are being committed is appalling, and it's just that it's all being blacked out. The world does not know what the Pakistani forces are doing in Balochistan.
Absolutely, absolutely. I completely endorse that, because Pakistan is, since early 2000s, there is a military operation, full-fledged military operation going on in Balochistan. And there are some areas, like all of Balochistan is affected, but there are some areas that even local people are not allowed to go there. Like some places like Dera Bugti, Makran. If we talk about last 2 weeks, there has been a continuous offensive, military offensive going on since the Prime Minister of India raised the Balochistan issue, and maybe more than 100 people have been killed and 200 people have been abducted. And only 2 days back, there was a mass grave discovered in Sui region of Dera Bugti, where 12 people were dumped and they were buried, and after being killed and after being tortured, after they were abducted by the Pakistan forces.
And what Brahumdagh was, India at the top level, Abdul Bugti is aware. So this is the Prime Minister's office, the MOS PMO, who has just spoken to us at length for about 7 minutes on this entire matter. So they are apprised, and you would also appreciate that it's not as easy as it looks. If the Prime Minister decides, then along with welcoming Balochis into India with open arms, there will be also a lot of other issues that India will have to embrace, perhaps permanently damage equations with Pakistan. But more importantly, what stands out is that we are busy doing in its province.
Of course, definitely. I completely understand what you said, and that is the point we are trying to make for a long time, because China has, India has just now started to speak about the Baloch issue. It is not the issue of asylum for Baloch issue. It is not the issue of asylum for Baloch political leaders or refugees. It is a very serious conflict, as Mr. Singh has said, that we really appreciate the statement by the office of Prime Minister, and we think it is the time. It is the properly start talking about Balochistan, not only in media, also on international level. Like, they should become the voice of their neighbors, the neighbors that they are suffering from last 70 years at the hands of an army that is rightly accused of being a terrorist. If India, as a very huge power in the world, can suffer from the dirty plans of Pakistani army, what is happening in Balochistan, you can only imagine from there, because they have been in their clutches. You can only imagine from there, because they have been in their clutches for last 70 years, and they have been suffering from military operations, enforced disappearances, extrajudicial Balochistan. So it is very encouraging. We really appreciate that India has now taken up the issue and now will play its part as a responsible neighbor and as an international power. Will play its part as a responsible neighbor and as an international power, as the largest democracy of the world, to highlight the plight of the Baloch people.
True, and you know, what you say also rings a bell. At least people here in India will know what's happening in Balochistan, not so far away, but absolutely kept in the dark about the plight of the people in Balochistan. Abdul Bugti, thank you for your patience and thank you for talking to us. We'll continue to stay in touch with you and many others who are fighting this entire movement in Balochistan and for Balochistan.